Hi there, and welcome back to Bands and the Humans podcast. I'm your host, Bands, and you are the humans. This is episode 6 of Free Rants and the very first video / audio of 2020. I wanted to do the video much earlier, or the audio much earlier in the year, but I had to allow time to align itself with me spiritually. So now's the time. I feel I have gone through a little bit of a journey, somewhat, over the holiday and like a bit earlier into the year. And, I gained a little bit of insight, introspective insight about, myself and where I want to go going forward with all my projects, actually, not just the podcast, but with the podcast specifically. We're just going to be recapping today. This episode isn't going to be too long. I just want to be, taking you guys through where the journey started, where it's going, and how it's been so far. And for the first time listeners, welcome to the channel, welcome to the podcast. And for those who have been subscribed and have been with me since day one, welcome back. I'm so happy to be able to do this, because it's not every day that you get a chance to be able to do something that resonates with you spiritually, or just as a passion. Most people aren't as fortunate or enabled to be able to do something like this. So I recognize that, and I'm grateful for that blessing. Or just basically, I just wanted to start by mentioning that the podcast is still, in the fringes of its youth or infant stages, solely based on the amount of viewership or the amount of people watching the podcast. And it grew exponentially since the previous episode with Mkhulunzingiza, which was quite insightful and engaging. I had a lot of people, interact with me and reach out asking questions. And, I like that side of the interaction, or, the exchange of information, or just being able to, answer some questions and clarify some things for people. So that was cool. And, Kulu and I have built somewhat of a relationship, and I've learned a lot from him since then. It was the 12th of December when we recorded the episode, but, I've learned quite a lot from him. And, going forward, there's still so much to learn. And I think that was one of the reasons why I chose not to do an episode earlier in the year. It's because of the fact that I was learning. I thought, when you think you know so much, but life somehow finds a way to bring you back and tell you, hey, you don't know anything, So I've been learning. I've been, meditating, drinking water. But for the most part, it's been, quite a journey coming home for me. It was like a homecoming journey for me. Learning about Kemet and ancient Egypt. So they call it ancient Egypt, but, just learning about that and learning our history. And I'm still in search of more answers, more clarity on that. But so far, it's been quite a good journey, I guess. But yeah, my message for 2020 to you guys would have to be manifestation. Like, that's the only word that comes to mind when I think of the year 2020. And that's the one word that resonates with me the most as well, because I'm sure most of you guys have, if not all of you, most of you guys have been having visions of yourself in a better position, either in a better position or a more desirable position for yourself in life. So now it's time to, kind of follow through on that, because those visions that we have, they're not just dreams. They're not just, nonchalant things. It's just, those are messages and our higher self communicating to us, our innermost desires, and how we see ourselves at the peak of, our success, or whatever it is. You might picture yourself with money. You secured the bag. You might picture yourself accomplishing a certain thing. You might picture yourself being awarded for, all the hard work that you've put in, or just moving on from a certain situation, like either a bad relationship or a bad job, anything like that. So you've been having those visions, and it's time to actually take action towards building towards that vision. So yeah, that's the word for me for 2020: manifestation. And just focusing and honing in on the spiritual aspects of ourselves, because like we said in the previous episodes, is that we're human beings, and that means we're being human. It's only a temporary disposition for us. Like, it's not something permanent. We are spiritual before we embody the human form. So let us go forth knowing that you are an eternal being, and that the world around you vibrates and it resonates with you and it resonates through you. And you can ultimately manipulate that. The more you come to that understanding, the more you shed light on that side of yourself. But it's all just about taking the right steps towards that and building towards that vision that you have. For in terms of the guests that we'll be having, I've already made contact with some of the guests, and the episodes are lined up. But the first episode we will be having is episode 7 on the chakras, and just explaining that science and where it came from and all of that stuff. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. I'll announce the guests once I have confirmed a date with them to come record. And I hope you guys have been good. I hope you had a good holiday and back in the swing of things into the new year. It's been quite a ride for me, and I look forward to actually the podcast peaking and hitting its ceiling, or not even its ceiling, but just taking off. And I'm going to be working towards that for sure this year. So that's just me, and I hope you guys come along with me for the journey. Well, this has been episode 6 of Free Rants, Bands and the Humans podcast. I'm your host, Bands, and you are the humans. Peace.